Please.
Commissioner Decker?
Here.
Densberger?
Here.
Jeffers?
Here.
Call?
Here.
Mayor Mingus?
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Please stand for the invocation and standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, this new month that we're in. We're thankful for the safety we've had here in our city these past few days. We're very mindful of our fellow citizens and folks in Alabama, in the South, and Beauregard, which has had this great loss in their town, a loss of, we know of at least 23, and we know in this area how that can happen so easily and so quickly. And so our prayers and thoughts go out for these folks, and thankful that help is there to help them, those that suffered such great loss, and that, Lord, that recovery could happen very soon for them. We're thankful for the opportunity to honor a young friend of the city tonight, and we thank you for his example, that it would be one that could be copied and emulated by many, if not all. Thank you as we deliberate the city's business. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get her, John. Approve the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 19, 2019, the minutes of the special meeting for working session held on February 19, 2019, and the minutes of the special meeting for working session held on February 26, 2019 be approved as printed.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Densberger, discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Thank you.
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Special meritorious award tonight. Will Liam come forward, please? Liam Odewalt. This is the youngest young man to ever get with this award. He truly deserves it. Come right on up, son. Stay right there. It says here, the East Peoria Meritorious Award presented to Liam Odewalt. The city of East Peoria hereby recognizes and appreciates your meritorious actions, your willingness to go above and beyond to help those citizens who are struggling in our city. It's recognized and appreciated. You exemplify the highest degree of citizenship and service. We commend you for your commitment and dedication to those in need of help in our community. February 2019. This is for your blanket drive. Congratulations.
But actually this doesn't go to me. It goes to all you guys in the entire community of East Peoria and the actual Peoria across the river.
Your mom here tonight?
Yes, she's right there. She's right there behind my friend. I just like to take this moment to thank all of you guys for helping me get this, and especially my mom. She helped me plan this one out, and we beat our score last year. So thank you all so much for being able to participate in this blanket drive.
How many did you finally get?
340 at least.
Wow, super. Thank you very much.
Good job, buddy.
We're very proud. With all the negative news and things happening, doesn't that do your heart good to see somebody like that do a job like that? That just, it's refreshing. Next, we have a proclamation. Whereas multiple system atrophy, MSA, is a rare neurodegenerative disorder that is caused by cell loss in certain areas of the brain and spinal cord that impairs your body's involuntary functions, including blood pressure, heart rate, bladder function, and digestion. And whereas formerly called Shy-Drager syndrome, MSA shares many similar symptoms of Parkinson's disease, such as slowness of movement, muscle rigidity, and poor balance. And whereas people with MSA may have other difficulties with body functions that occur involuntarily, including urinary and bowel dysfunction, sweating abnormalities, sleep disorders, difficulty controlling blood pressure, sexual dysfunction, cardiovascular problems, and psychiatric problems. Whereas diagnosis of MSA can be challenging as many symptoms compare with those of Parkinson's disease, As a result, some people are never properly diagnosed, and whereas the progression of MSA varies from person to person, but the condition does not go into remission. As the disorder progresses, daily activities become increasingly difficult. And whereas novel treatment options are being investigated, but currently management options are very limited and there is no cure. And whereas people typically live 7 to 9 years after MSA symptoms first appear, and surviving 10 years is rare. And whereas treatment for MSA includes medications and lifestyle changes that may manage symptoms, the MSA is a progressive condition that in due course will lead to death. And whereas early detection and diagnosis is vital and may improve the quality of life as prolonged life expectancy of an MSFA sufferer. Therefore, I, David W. Mingus, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, do hereby proclaim October 3rd, 2019, every year thereafter, as World MSA Day, and March 2019, and every March thereafter, MSA Awareness Month in East Peoria, and encourage all citizens to support awareness and education of this rare disorder. Larry, you want to step forward? Larry came to visit me about a month ago, 2 months ago, and really provided me with a lot of information I never knew. Give us some words of wisdom here regarding this terrible disease you've certainly experienced firsthand. I'll bring the proclamation to you, Larry. Yeah, that'd be fine, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, and I hope when you leave that there will be a few more of you aware of this disease for which we're getting the proclamation. Mayor Mingus has told me that I can share just a couple of minutes. I'm going to keep it short, and I want to thank you and the City Council for helping make sure this proclamation gets made. In this city, right? Thank you, Mayor Mingus. Appreciate it a lot. There are in this area 380,000 citizens, and in the city of East Peoria, according to the 2017 census, there's only 22,739. This disease that was just described to you in this proclamation affects 4 in 100,000 people worldwide. So there's only 380,000 citizens in the world that would have this disease. There's only 16 in the central Illinois area that might have it. And in East Peoria, where there would be one maybe, my wife was that one for 6 years. From 2010 to 2016, we lived in East Peoria. She passed away in her home in East Peoria. And we got our care. We made friends. We were able to take care of all the needs that we had with East Peoria and Washington citizens helping me as I was her primary caregiver. All those whereases are true that you just heard Mayor Mingus read. It's very rare. It causes symptoms that we can't explain. In fact, doctors can't explain it. It took my wife 5 years to be diagnosed with 4 different misdiagnoses. And that typically happens with MSA patients. Jim G. is back here. He's a friend. We met because his father passed away from multiple system atrophy. And it took a while for them to diagnose him. And in his case, the symptoms were much more aggressive, and his father passed away very quickly. My wife, it was 8 years. It's called Parkinson's on steroids. And another name that a doctor once gave it was an intact mind inside a broken body. Your thinking skills, everything that you can do, you can watch politics, you can learn about the streets, you can do all that, but your body is breaking down. And it's different than Parkinson's. Roger Helene and his wife Barbara here, and Roger and I begun working together to kind of partner Parkinson's disease advocates with multiple system atrophy disease advocates so we can get more accomplished. The reason why it was so wonderful of all of you to do what you did, to make this proclamation possible, to help maybe another 25 people in here learn about the disease, and as you go out, maybe share what you have as well, is because we do need awareness and we need funds. I was told while visiting with the leading researcher into MSAs from Innsbruck, Austria, and I was over there for a week, and he told me at that time in 2017, if I have $25 million, or if we have $25 million by 2022, we can have a treatment or a cure for this disease by 2029. That's right. There is no treatment. There is no cure. And currently, with all the gene and environmental testing, there's no known cause. So this disease is terminal, which means my wife, when she was diagnosed, actually March 13, 2013. She knew from that day till she passed that she was going to die. There's no other diseases that are like that. So fundraising and awareness are important. You all have helped with the awareness part. I have had handed out to you by Morgan. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Morgan. A plugger that is there that is about a fundraiser we're having in October. And there's also a sponsorship package there. There's information about the MSA Coalition. It's been around 30 years this year. We made $1 million in donations last year from people as small as $10 up to $50,000 to $75,000. That's $1 million for the whole program. We need $25 million by 2022 if we can solve this problem. So I thank all of you for helping, for making this proclamation possible, for having it every year afterwards, and hopefully East Peoria will continue to do what they did and stand forward in beating this disease. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. And we'll see Roger and Barbara in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Very good. All right, consent agenda. We had no objections. I turn over to you, Commissioner Densberger.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt a consent agenda consisting of items numbered 1 through 6 as listed on the agenda for this meeting to be considered by omnibus vote.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call. Discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And so, Mr. Mayor, I move you that the items numbered 1 through 6 listed on the consent agenda be hereby approved and adopted. The items numbered 2 through 6, having been read once by their title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call. Discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye.
Thank you very much.
Moving on with my
Mayor?
Mayor, did you want to have public comment?
Oh,
Did I
yes,
miss
thank you,
that?
Dennis, very much. Public comments on anything on the agenda, please come forward. Got so excited about our proclamation and our award.
There you go.
Now we'll
There are
move on.
none.
Thank you, sir.
I'll move forward with my regular agenda items then, Your Honor. Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4426 hereto attached, an ordinance providing for the vacation of a portion of Centennial Drive right-of-way adjacent to Pheasant Run Road, having been read once by its title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is a second reading as discussed a couple of weeks ago. This is a small portion that really is of no use to the city, and it can be vacated and put to a better use.
Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, I'll be reading this at length. Resolution number 1819-118. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that a public hearing will be held by the City Council on Tuesday evening, March 19th, 2019, at 6 p.m. in the City Council Chambers in the Civic Complex, 401 West Washington Street, East Peoria, Illinois, for the purpose of giving interested citizens the opportunity to provide written or oral comments on the proposed appropriation ordinance and the proposed working cash budget for the City of East Peoria for the fiscal year May 1, 2019 to April 30, 2020. Be it further resolved that the city clerk give public notice of said public hearing in the manner provided by law, and that this resolution number 1819-118 be adopted as presented.
Second, please.
Second.
Therefore, Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 1819-118 be adopted as presented.
I will go with the second. Commissioner Call.
Second.
Thank you. We've had conversations over the last month, several working sessions about arriving at a budget, and this is the formal hearing that's required by law for its adoption, hopefully at the first meeting in April.
Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, I want to start selling some property. Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4428 here to attach, an ordinance authorizing the selling process by sealed bid for city-owned surplus real estate be accepted on its first reading, as read by its title, and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Decker?
Thank you, Commissioner. This is something that Mr. Livingston brought to me a couple of weeks ago. We've uncovered several small parcels that the city has ownership of and but no good useful purpose for. So we're looking to dispose of them. Both this resolution and the next one would accomplish that. So Ty, if you'd give us an overview of both of them, really.
Certainly. So this is a process we went through with our GIS coordinator as well as our residential building inspector. Some of these properties we've come across through processes where we've demolished the property and then taken control of it. The properties that we struggle with trying to find a good use for, they're really too small to accommodate a home. We'll probably put through a sealed bid process. And then the other properties in the second item are going to be ones that we would like to put out for sale with our realtor. We think they have good value, good opportunity to put a new home on them. And the ultimate goal is to try to get these out of the city's control and put them into private property ownership hands so that we no longer have to maintain them and we can get them back on the tax rolls.
Thank you, Ty.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Migas?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And this is the following resolution, Your Honor. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1819-129 hereto attached, a resolution authorizing the selling process for city-owned surplus real estate be approved, and that this resolution number 1819-129 be accepted on its first reading, as read by its title, and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Decker?
Thank you, Commissioner. The properties involved in this case, the ones that we feel will be appraised and then placed with an agent, are 122 Cherry, 124 West Faulkner, 101 Harmony, and 215 South Pleasant Hill. And the others are a little more challenged properties due to size, topography, other limitations. Those would be 130 Kerfoot, 349 Park Avenue, 212 Division, 232 Everett, 238 Franklin, Fairview Avenue, and 202 Arnold Road.
Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Migas? All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, I have Resolution 1819-131. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1819-131 hereto attached, a resolution to approve agreement for management services with ProChamps for the city's vacant and foreclosed property registration program be approved, and that this resolution number 1819-131 be accepted on its first reading, as read by its title, and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call.
Thank you, Commissioner. You gentlemen will recall that probably a month or so ago now, we had a gentleman in from ProChamps discussing this program with us. Basically, it's a turnkey process where there's a registration involved. They collect the registration, share that money with us, and then they administer the program to ensure that vacant and foreclosed properties are dealt with in an effective manner. So, anything else, Ty?
I think you said it well.
Thank you.
Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Migas?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4427 hereto attached, an ordinance amending Title IV, Chapter 16.1 of the City of East Peoria City Code regarding the regulation of small wireless facilities within the public right-of-way, be accepted on its first reading, as read by its title, and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is I think, a continuation of some things we've done in the past. Ty, care to elaborate?
Yeah, so this, originally we had to modify our ordinance to be consistent with state law. Now this is the federal requirements, and they have loosened things up a little bit more. And so we have to make changes, unfortunately, that we're not crazy about, but to be compliant, we need to. It talks about things like redefining what co-location is of these small cell units, make some alterations to our application process, how we can accept them, shorten some timelines for our response. So it's not ideal, but it is puts us in compliance with the federal law, and we have to do it. So,
Thank you.
Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4384 here to attach, an ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 22 of the East Peoria City Code pertaining to massage establishments and massage services, be accepted on its first reading, is read by its title, and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call.
Thank you, Commissioner Call. This is an ordinance that has needed updating for some time. I think we actually made the request about a year ago to have this looked at, and it's as topics like this tend to be, it becomes very involved. Essentially, we are removing this from an adult use to more of a property management sort of approach. Ty, care to elaborate on the high points?
Certainly. So I'll give credit initially here with the city clerk. Deputy Chief Shannon Swearingen was also involved in this process, along with the city attorney's office, to update the ordinance here. It provides compliance with state law. There's an issue here with regulating individual massage therapists. That is state regulated now. That's not something the cities can do or should do. It does also provide a process for the application process, streamlines that. I will mention there's another piece that's going to come through here, that it's a zoning related, that we're going to make these special uses. And the idea is that we've got, there are ones that are national and regionally recognized. You can think of businesses like Massage Envy. Those are franchised operations that are throughout many strip centers throughout the country now. And so there's a lot of these out there. There are some exceptions that are provided in here, particularly when these are coordinated with medical establishments and that sort of thing. So it really updates the code and identifies, the marketplace and what's going on out there right now.
Thank you.
Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And looks like it have another one to read at length here, Your Honor. Resolution number 1819-132. Whereas the City Council can determine the normal annual hourly requirements of its elected officials, and whereas on August 8, 2016, the position of City Administrator was filled with the objective of professionalizing the governmental operation by strengthening the role of the City Administrator, and whereas on November 1, 2016, by reason of having revised the city's organizational structure by strengthening the role of the City Administrator, the position of Mayor was designated a part-time position, and whereas the position of City Administrator became vacant on September 30, 2018, and the City Council has since then chosen not to fill the position of a City Administrator, and whereas in the absence of a City Administrator, greater demands are placed upon the Mayor, and whereas in advance of the municipal election to be held on April 2, 2019, this City Council finds it appropriate that those yet to be elected by the voters to serve on the next City Council shall determine if it is in the best interest of the city that the position of mayor be part-time or full-time. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that those elected to serve on the City Council at the April 2, 2019 municipal election shall have the option of designating the position of mayor as either part-time or a full-time position. So, Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 1819-132 be adopted as presented.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call.
Thank you, Commissioner. When this came up, as an individual, I am not in favor of East Peoria having a full-time mayor. I don't believe that it's something that is necessary for this city. I believe that a professional city administrator is a far better option. And, you know, there was some discussion not too long ago about changing our form of government. I still believe it would be in the best interest of the city to put the city manager form to the voters to get their input on this particular topic. However, I also think that it should be a choice of the coming council. If a city administrator is not put in place, it will put demands on whomever the next mayor is, and the next council should certainly have the choice to position that the mayor, whether it be full-time or part-time, as is required. So I will support this, not because I think it's a great idea that the city of East Peoria have a full-time mayor, but because I fully support the next council having that choice.
Other discussion, please. Dennis, there's no time limit on that as far as when the council may decide that. I guess we need a second. We got a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
No.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
No.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Migas?
Aye.
3 ayes and 2 noes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
That's all I have, sir.
So on that, back to that just for 1 second. So after the election, the mayor will be part-time unless otherwise designated by the council.
So unless the council would take action, it would continue to be a part-time
Part-time,
position.
very good. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Densberger. Commissioner Decker.
I have nothing right now, Mayor.
Commissioner Jeffers.
I have 2 items tonight, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved, first one is resolution number 1819-126. Be it resolved by the council of the city of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1819-126, hereto attached, a resolution authorizing purchase of vehicles for the Public Works Department from Uftring Ford, a new 2019 Ford F-350 one-ton chassis with utility box for the Water Department, a new 2019 Ford 250 three-quarter-ton pickup for the Wastewater Department, and the new 2019 Ford Transit 350 service body van for wastewater programmer electrician be approved. And that this resolution number 1819-126 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Second, please.
Second.
Mr. Call.
Thank you, Commissioner Call. These vehicles that are being requested tonight for purchase are actually, Mayor, in all of us, in the next budget year, the funds to pay for this comes out of the Enterprise Fund of Water, Wastewater. The lead time to get these vehicles, even if they're ordered very quickly, at least the first ones wouldn't come, I believe, until July, August, well into the new budget year. We have a need for these vehicles, and we cascade down some of our old vehicles as well. But Dennis, our director, any more comment? I mean, I do know the pricing on this is excellent as far as the government pricing. It's just very, very good, even below what we even would have thought, but you may comment.
Correct. We worked with Uftring Ford to kind of make sure we could utilize the government pricing on the chassis and then work through the process of utilizing PAFCO to upfit the service bodies for those vehicles that are required to be able to get those upfit. Our van especially is in heavily need. I believe we're not even going to keep that vehicle after it's done. It's going to be looked at to try to get rid of because it's in so poor shape that we don't even think we can repurpose it.
And I noticed there's one trade-in of one of our Ford Escapes that's surplus at this point.
Yeah, that's one of the escapes that was replaced with the stipend, mainly mine. The other ones are still kind of out depending on what the budget is. We did have appraisals done on all three of those vehicles, and mine was the least favorable as far as the trade-in goes. It has the most mileage on it, and we already had talked about that mine was going to be eliminated regardless, so we've decided to move ahead with that and trade it in on these. That actually puts us about $5,500 under what we had requested in the budget process.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion, please. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Mayor, resolution number 1819-127. Be resolved by the council of the city of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 1819-127, hereto attached, a resolution approving engineering services contract for improvements to the Centennial Water Treatment Plant be approved, and that this resolution number 1819-127 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call.
Thank you, Commissioner Call. We've had work, engineering done. Midwest Engineering is our engineering group that does the work for this area. Earlier this year, late last year, I forget when I signed off on this, we had an initial bill. We thought we were done under $9,000, and as commissioners, we can go anything 10,000 or less, and this is a budgeted, it's an item that we work with and do. So it had been signed off, approved by me, which is proper. And then the EPA, we thought we were done, and the EPA came back with some additional costs and things to be done. And so with that revision, with the additional expense, that pushed it above our ceiling. And so it's an additional $3,200, $3,288. And so just to bring it forward here and just to illustrate how we do things here, I'm asking for approval for this extra amount. And this is all proper work. It's driven by, you've got to pay for regulations, and that's what we're talking about. And so we have this request.
Thank you. Other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker?
Thank you.
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
Aye.
Mayor Mingus?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Jeffers. Commissioner Call.
Have nothing, sir.
Thank you, sir. Anybody in the audience want to speak to the council on a non-agenda item, come forward. Please come forward, Bob.
Simple yes or no. Is the property on Center Street that bumps from the old LeConte building to the underpass and across the street also coming up for sale? Yes or no?
Ty?
We have been there's been an RFP issued to developers. We've gotten some proposals, but it's very preliminary, Bob.
But it is going to be sold then?
We're looking to develop it, so yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anybody else want to speak to the council? Norm?
I ran across this article, actually came from Tim Jeffers' website, or Facebook page, I'm sorry. John talks about a tight budget and holding the line on spending. The fact is John's department expenses have grown substantially more than any other department, far outpacing revenue growth. The result, in part, less money for street maintenance, cuts in city services as semi-annual cleanup, and weekly recycling. So in the spreadsheet, it's quoted as John's first year budget, $3.5 million. We're talking about the fire budget. John Call's projected budget ending April 29, $5.064 million, 44% increase. Whoever figured this out, whether it be Mr. Jeffers or maybe Mr. Gablehausen, should be well aware that between 2016 and 2017, the ambulance budget was rolled into the fire department of about $1.3 million, so the actual increase from 2015 to 2019 is about 11%. It really concerns me that this is out on a social media platform when clearly it's false information meant to deceive the voters. And you know, there's no call for this happening in an election. 2 weeks ago at executive session, we had some issues in public works. I consider them serious issues. They were to be discussed, and they were discussed in the executive session. But Mr. Decker and Mr. Jeffers chose not to attend that executive session, so consequently, those issues could not be addressed. So again, I think that's unacceptable. That's not showing leadership to hide in a closet when there's problems that's looking us in the face that need to be solved.
Else? Seeing no one else, comments from the council. Commissioner Decker.
Well, first of all, what he is referring to, I was at my son's band concert, and I actually requested that they not have the executive session that he's referring to. So, no, I was not able to attend that, and as I said during that council meeting, I will always put my family first. So, after that, I would like to talk about the Green Carnival. The Green Carnival is something that is held every year, or at least hopefully we're having the second annual of an annual event. Last year it was held at East Peoria High School, and I was asked to talk about this tonight, and I think it's a really good thing. It wasn't real well attended last year, but we're hoping to get a lot more this year. It's going to be on April 25th at 4:30 until 6:30, and it's going to be right out in the atrium. Something that's really neat, there will be some things for kids to learn about recycling and some things that they can learn that will help conserve energy, maybe conserve costs, which we all would like to see, as well as we always in events like this and events like the farmers market, we try to do a raffle for maybe a free toter. There are some other possibilities as well, but it's an event to, at least for me, a Public Works Commissioner over solid waste. I look at our recycling. Our trash budget, I guess, if you look at trash and then recycling, trash costs the city of East Peoria $56 a ton to get rid of, to dispose of. We take it to the transfer station up off Washington Street, and it costs $56 a ton. The recycling material costs, tell me if I'm wrong, Dennis, $7 a ton? Is that right? $7 a ton. You can see the difference there. It's a $49 a ton difference. In East Peoria, whether you believe in or not the notion that we should recycle, if nothing else, you can see that it will save the city of East Peoria a lot of money if the taxpayers try to recycle as much as possible. I appreciate all those that do, and it's an opportunity for us to drive down the costs in our city government, and it's something that I hope that more people will do. I say that because there's a concern that I've had. I found this out just recently. Through all of our efforts of trying to promote recycling and trying to get more people to recycle, we've actually, over the last 4 years, I've seen a slight downturn in recycling and a little bit of an upturn in the amount of trash that goes to the landfill. Now, we're looking at opportunities to save money. That's troubling because we think we've done everything we can do to try to promote recycling. A couple areas that we've looked at that I don't know if we can reverse now. We've gone to the bi-weekly recycling. We would all love to go to weekly recycling. It's just a matter of being able to afford that. Now, if we could get a lot more of these tons of trash turned into recycling material, that would pay for that extra person, and it would be financially beneficial for us. We have gone to a toter system, and the toter system is important, I believe, because of it reduces the work comp claims. It causes our employees to not get injured as often, but also it speeds up the routes. They pull up next to it, the arm will reach out, grab a hold of the material, and dump it in the truck. We went to that, and this July, it's slated to go to like fully automatic, only toter system. Having said that, this is still something we're wanting to do. What we don't want to do, however, is to cause people to stop recycling. So in a few weeks, the new council will be seated, and this will be a charge for that council, who's ever sitting up here, to try to look at that turn and I guess figure out exactly why it is occurring and what there is to do that the city can do to try to reverse it, because it is much better financially if we can go the other way, try to recycle more and throw less in the landfill.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Densberger.
Commissioner Decker,
Yes.
would we possibly be ahead? I know there is a certain segment of our population here in East Peoria that can't afford the $60 to buy the toter.
Thank you. Yes. You know, back, I think it's 14, somewhere around there, when we first started talking about doing it, or going to a toter system, the idea was thrown out, well, maybe we should get everybody a toter, because if everybody recycles, it would save us money. The problem with that is some people had already purchased toters. And those that had already purchased toters, when you look at it, well, like, I've already purchased mine. Why should I have purchased mine and somebody else got theirs for free? We chose not to do it. I am certainly open to those throughout the community that can't afford it. We have done what we could already, just trying to figure out ways that people just are absolutely unable. We haven't come up with a plan yet and put it out, but it is something that we should do as we get closer to that July date.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's something to look at if it's savings for the city. And I can give you an example. My son, who is a tightwad, wouldn't spend the $60 for a toter, so I bought him one. So.
Well, that's good. That's
Thank
fine.
you. Commissioner Densberger, please.
Actually, one suggestion that was passed on to me by a older lady who lives on her own relative to recycling, she said, and it made a lot of sense to me, is simply that there's only one size recycling toter available, and it's too big for her to handle. And she certainly would never fill that large of a toter, so perhaps if there were a smaller size available for small households that would make it more manageable,
I think
that might be an alternative.
That is a good thing. My only concern with it, and I don't know if we can fix it or not, is the smaller ones, more often when it dumps it into the truck, it like slips out of the arm, and so we allow people to do it.
It just got recycled too.
Yeah, it just got recycled too. So yes, absolutely, Commissioner. If we can figure out a way to do it and ensure that that won't happen, I just don't know if we can. I don't know if you have an answer to that or not, Dennis.
No, not really. I mean, I know one of the selling points on the larger size is they actually are more stable for people that have issues being able to walk with them, because they will support weight. The smaller ones tend to be less stable. So in a situation of an older person handling that toter, if they decide to try to put more weight on it as they're trying to use it to help get it up and down, they'll tend to slip out more often than the larger size will. And I know we do have some of the original very small toters that started way back whenever. You know, we can have this, we can try to see if there's another opportunity. Our issue was we don't want to be in the business of selling toters if we can get away with it, but this process requires us to have, so we have one that's the same size as garbage as it is recycling, so it just kind of a one size fits all. If somebody wants to do something different, by all means, I would encourage it as opposed to not recycling. We just can't accommodate it as part of our process. I don't have a storefront to be able to sell 3 or 4 different size toters and meet everybody's needs, so I had to try to pick the best.
Sure.
Very good.
That's all I have, sir.
Commissioner Jeffers.
Just a short comment, as far as any items that we do discuss or is discussed in exec, the reason we do in exec is because it is a private matter for the reason that we have it in exec. Any commissioner can choose to attend or not. For various reasons, I made the decision not to, but it doesn't mean that the process and whatever we did discuss in there is broken or not fixed. I don't know that you would know who we talked or what we talked about. So that's not that's an issue that's private for us as a council to deliberate. Anything that I put out or that I do put out, if I make a mistake, I will correct it. But at this point, I have no more comments on what you had to say. It was good to see the celebration today for Liam. That was great, and that was great. I'm glad the news had a chance to talk to him, and that'll be a good story to put out to the community. We always use good news, and I think the mayor said it best. That's a great story. So anyhow, it's good to be able to serve the city, and I think as we work ahead, we're getting past the wintertime, hopefully, and we see an improvement there. It's good to see Dennis here. I know he flew in from Des Moines today, and your cold is getting better, right?
I don't think it is.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Call.
Just a few comments. First of all, I just want to state, I don't feel it's the proper place to be sitting on the council and me commenting on any campaign matters, not the platform, but I can assure you there will be a time and a place when I do address the misinformation that's been put out there. So with that being said, I have a few announcements. Tomorrow, March 6th, for all you with little crumb crunchers that have doubts about whether or not you have the car seat in there, the free car seat check offered by the East Peoria Fire Department is kicking off for 2019 tomorrow between 1 and 4 p.m. at Central House, which is 201 West Washington, down the street. And then, so I don't upset Jill, on Thursday, that Code Red system that we implemented where you get text messages and you can sign up for a whole slew of different messages, whether it's emergency related, public works related, east side related. That system's being upgraded. So if you're currently signed up as of Thursday, I believe, that upgrade's going to kick in, so you will have to re-sign up. So please do so if you want that to continue on your phone. And then last but not least, there is a candidate forum scheduled for Wednesday, March 13th, put on by the Women League of Voters here at the Civic Plaza at 6 p.m. Oh, she's going to correct me.
No, you can't talk, Jill.
Yeah.
If you've already signed up for Code Red, you don't have to sign up again. If you were on the texting program that we've had forever and you haven't signed up for Code Red, you need to sign up for Code Red by Thursday if you want to keep getting text messages.
Jill's done a great job on that,
Thanks
too.
Thanks for correcting me. One thing I did learn, too, if you switch carriers, you have to sign up again.
Absolutely, yeah.
So keep that in mind should you switch carriers, which I did, and I couldn't figure out why I was getting messages. So that would be why. But anyway, the candidate forum, well-informed, voters make
I'm
well-informed
glad you
decisions.
said that. I just switched
so.
carriers.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it till
Well, I
you said
found
it.
out the hard way, so that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I do appreciate you're not bringing politics into the council. I know it's difficult not to. Motion to adjourn, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, March 19th, 2019 at 6 p.m.
Second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Call. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Densberger?
Aye.
Jeffers?
Aye.
Call?
All right.
Mayor Migas?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.